Rigby, brought up in Darcy Lever, Bolton, born in 1942, a wartime baby, with a lifelong love of steam trains and train spotting. Started train spotting at Darcy Lever station, which was about 50 yards from our house in Bentley Street, and it was at the Bolton end of the Bolton-Bury line. And at the end, we were at the end, the station was at the end of the first wrought iron viaduct in the country, which is still there, crossing the Tong Valley. And Darcy Lever station, Ernie the porter, Mr Brindle, the station master, was part of our life. If we were playing out, we could go, let's go and see Ernie, and we'd sit on the station. And Ernie would tell us all sorts of tales, and in later years tales about Ernie have come out, one of which was when there was a big snowstorm and it was about 4 foot deep, and that's not an exaggeration. Ernie was missing, he didn't go home, and his wife was very worried, and they sent somebody out to look for him, and he was sitting by the log fire in the station master's hut. I'm not going out in that. One of the thrills of train spotting before I was 8 or 9 was going out at 9 o'clock at night, any time of the year. And the thrill in the winter was it was so dark we could go out in the dark at 9 o'clock at night to see the 9 o'clocker, which was usually a Jubilee class locomotive taking the Blackpool to Rochdale Express, and we would go up to Billy Allen's garage at the top of Bentley Street. He was a haulage contractor. Get up onto the embankment, onto the railings and wait for it, and it would whiz through, but I don't know how we managed to get the numbers off them at that speed, so close, but we did. And we did that all year. And when we got older, we were allowed to go into town to Trinity Street Station and train spot from the bridge, which is now a new bridge. They knocked it down. The footbridge. We just called it, we're going on bridge. After I was 11, I passed my scholarship with a great deal of hardship. I was a borderline case and got into grammar school on interview. We could go onto the bridge at lunchtime because County Grammar overlooked the station. And when we were in the...
So that's the school that used to be on...
Great Street. The building is still there now, it's now apartments, and the back of it overlooks Trinity Street. So, and the music room overlooked Trinity Street, so when we went to music lessons we could train spot. Why did we not get in trouble? Because Mr Martin, the music teacher, was blind. So if you did it quietly, you could get away with it. But when we were on the bridge, the wrought iron was all diamond shaped wrought iron work, and you used to put your face up to the wrought iron, and you'd go back to school and you'd have a black line down your forehead and 2 black lines up at the side of your face. But in the holidays, when we were train spotting on the ridge, we got refreshment. One of the bus stations was on Trinity Street, opposite Trinity Street Station, and it's more or less coming back to what it was, the interchange they call it now. We had a bus station and a train station. We could get refreshment from the bus driver's cafe. We could have a penny jam crust. And the penny jam crust, we couldn't have any butter on it because the butter was for the bus drivers and conductors on their toast. We could only have the crust because the uncrust bread, that was for the bus drivers and the conductors, but we could have a penny jam crust. And anybody that you talk to that train spotted in the 50s and 60s would tell you about penny jam crusts. Trinity Street Station also has a memory for me of going away with the grammar school scouts in 1958 to Austria, and we went to Austria by train all the way. The Scoutmaster had arranged it. We were going to Innsbruck, and we were going to walk up the Stubai Valley, and I still remember two of the little villages in that valley. It was called Mutters and Natters. But we went all the way by train, and when we came back, 1958 was O-level year, and the steps that came up from the platform at Trinity Street, we were at the bottom, not knowing our results. Our parents were at the top, knowing our results. A little bit apprehensive, to say the least. The types of locomotives that we used to see were all sorts. The Coronation class, they were like the City of Montrose, the City of Coventry. They were big Pacific mainline locomotives, and they would come through Bolton. I trained to teach in Chelsea, and I could go back to London in those days by train from Bolton and not get off. We had one memorable journey where we went with a chap, Skip MacDonald, who used to do the Cook's badge in the Scouts, and he worked for de Havilland, and he had an expense account, and I was with Tom Buchanan, and he bought us lunch on the train, because the journey was usually 5 or 6 hours, and he did it on the expense account. Tom Buchanan was a county grammar boy. He was a Brown the Fall boy, lived in Halliwell, and he was one of these that was good at everything. He was good academically, he was a good sportsman, and the girls seemed to like him. He was captain of the football team at Brown the Fall Junior School. He went to County Grammar. He was captain of the football team at County Grammar. He followed me to the College of St Mark and St John in London. He was captain of the football team there. And he finished up as deputy to the Governor of Hong Kong. He was one of Maggie Thatcher's advisors. And he was, the last time I saw him, he was stood next to Chris Patton at the handover to China of Hong Kong. So he always seemed to land on his feet. Going back to train spotting, still do it. We've now got the rejuvenation of the Yorkshire-Lancashire Railway in Bury, the East Lancashire Railway. So I still go there. And my favourite engine is a Lancashire and Yorkshire Aspinall that was built at Horwich. So train spotting's always been there. It's in my blood. You get a long full train, exhaust smoke, it's superb, keeps you going all day.